everybody, welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and today I come across a problem I had that shouldn't be a problem, but it is. Before we get started, don't forget to have your Trump coffee. I got mine on the Trump warmer. So what I'm doing is, these are the tubes that came off of my Challengers that I had leftover pieces of it, and a buddy of mine had made one, and I wanted to try to make it a little better than what was there, because when I went to put a plug in it, I 3D printed a plug and put a plug in there, and as soon as I shot it, the force of the gun came back, because I had pellets in there. I had a row of pellets inside of a baggie, and I had the threaded end that I had plugged, which was the end that held it on to the gun. When I shot it, I had the threaded part back towards the gun operator, because nobody wants to go up here and loosen it up. They want to loosen it from the back, pull it out from the back. So when I had it like that, and I figured that wouldn't be a problem, having that pressed in 3D printed bushing, and it worked. But it didn't work when I shot the gun. When the force of the gun pushed it backwards, it knocked that cap right out and all the pellets hit the ground. So I decided to get a tap and die set to be able to thread these tubes. And I can do fiberglass tubes, plastic tubes, that size. This is actually 29.97 millimeters. Might as well say 30 millimeters. So 30 millimeters is a loose fit on it. So it's a 30 millimeter tube. But anyway, so I got the tap and the die. I got the die here somewhere, or the tap. And I just threaded the tube. So now the original cap, which is what this one is, we'll thread into this side also. So now I've got a threaded tube on both sides, and I've always wanted to be able to thread these tubes, but it's threaded now. So when I got this tap, none of my 50 frickin' tap handles fit it. I've got all kinds of tap handles. I made this one for my big taps for pipe. That one's too small a hole. This one's a too small of a hole. I made that one, which uses the exact same handles that come off of this, which I made out of steel, which are pretty heavy. And then I got this one, which is basically just a size lower than this one. So I wanted to show you guys how you can use this tap in a pinch when you don't have the tool to hold it. So I'll put you down here to the lathe. We're getting ready to lathe this, or thread that. So I wanted to show you how I went about doing it. So now let's hope nothing's in the way. So basically what I've got is the part turned down, and I'm ready to cut it off. I've already took the cut off blade and made a groove there where I'm going to cut it off. Hopefully I got enough room between this and the chuck. It's pretty tight. It's pretty close. It's one of them hair raising closeness. This one is the one I just made, and I'm not going to hollow out the inside. I don't need to. I could if I wanted to make it lighter, so the option's there. And now all I gotta do is face it off and this cap is done. So, I mean, it's not exactly like the original cap, but it's close, very close. A little longer threads, simply because I forgot to take the cutoff wheel and make a relief on the end of that, but it still butts up against the tube just fine, so I didn't have to do that. This one, however, I did. I did a millimeter drop there at the end of the thread so that the end of the threads will, see, this has got a taper in it at the beginning and the other side, which one side's not supposed to be that way, so you can turn it around and use it like a bottoming tap. But they've changed them now to where both sides are tapered, and you've got quite a bit of a gap right there before the thread starts. So I just went ahead and put a groove in it, made it groovy. So now what I'll do is, let's move my tool here and get this in the right position. We're going to bring this up, and we got my biggest chuck on here, which is a 5/8 chuck, or actually I think it's a 3/4 chuck. And then we're going to butt that up against it to where it's straight. All right, and I'm going to make that a little longer, because I want this saddle to have enough room to move out of my way. Alright, so now I've locked down my tailstock, and let's just hope that I got that turned the right size. I got it pretty close to the same as what the other one was. So now I got to lock it into drive gear. Alright, that will hold the chuck. I've also got the belt tightened, so it's pretty stout. You're not turning that with your hand. And now I'm going to move this saddle up out of the way as much as I can. We're going to put a little bit of Earl on that. And trust me, I don't like doing it this way because it scars that up. But this is hardened, and it's kind of hard to hold it if you ain't got something that's got soft jaws that would hold it. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to use this pair of channel locks, and I wish I had a bigger set. And while I'm turning this, I'm going to turn this to go in to keep pressure on it. So we'll get it started. And you got to grip it pretty tight. Now once I get a full couple threads, or one or two, or 1.5, maybe 2. Oops, sorry guys, didn't mean to hit y'all in the face. Well, it's threading okay, so we're going to go ahead and go for it. You want to make sure you got plenty of threads. And then I just use my channel locks to do it, and it likes to slip. Let me make sure I'm not going too deep. Well, I'm not going to go too deep. It's going to flatten out first. Hit the shoulder when it gets hard. And it should stop here in just a second. Right there it is. Alright, so now we can take this off. And check out our threads. Alright. That's how you use a tap without a tap handle. So now we're gonna turn that on. Take our wire brush, copper, brass, and we're just gonna clean them threads out a little bit. All right, now we get to cut it off. Now let's check and make sure it works first. Might have to chase him. So now we'll take this and see if she fits. And there you go. I can put an O-ring in there, in that groove, and that will seal it also. And it threads into the original side, which is the black side. So there we go. So now we can cut that off. Let's hope this works out very well. Alright, so now we've got it cut off. Now all we're going to do is face each side of it. So I'll get set up and we'll face the side of it. Don't want to hold them very tight, you put a mark in it. Alright, then we'll put our second one in there. Didn't scratch it at all. Alright, so guys, that's how you use a die without a tool. It's not the favorite thing to do, but it works. So now we have a tube, and then this will go and mount to a 1-inch Picatinny scope mount. And then I can put pellets inside of it. So I'm thinking about also 3D printing a vial that's big enough to hold all the pellets that will fit inside of this. Probably get about 6 or 8, I can't remember. This one here is hollow inside, but I closed all that in with silicone because this was actually original cap for a 30 caliber Challenger. So I just put a plug in the end of it, some RTV gasket maker, filled it in, but now I've got these, I can use them. So what would have made that a whole lot nicer is if I was to knurl it, but that'd be a little hard to do now. Now that it's broke off, there's no way to hold it to knurl it. But anyway, that's how you use a die when you don't have a tap hand or a die handle to use. Now I'm going to make one. I just got to wait until I can get some stock to do it. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get the stock because my site's not doing very well. I might get one order a month. So it's pretty much died. So projects are getting fewer and far between because I just don't have the material to do it. So if anybody's got some scraps in their shop that they want to get rid of, that they would like to help the shop out with, by all means, I welcome it. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that. It probably turned into a longer video than I expected, but that's what these tubes are. It's 28, it's an M28 by 1.0 thread. And then I went and got the 18. I already had the 18 millimeter 1.0. I ended up having to get the 18 millimeter 1.5 for the hammer, because the hammer takes a different thread on the barrel. So anybody that decides to take their shroud off, I have to tap and die to make both suppressor, barrel brakes and stuff like that. And for an air rifle, a barrel brake, all it is for looks. So anyway, hope you guys got something out of that and learned how to use a tool without a tool to hold the tool. A lot of tools in that sentence. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Later.